Yo, what is good? I hope everybody is having a great day. This one's going to be a short video because I'm going to be touching on quite a few things in a short period of time. And yeah, I want to get through a lot of things. So we're going to start off like this. Man, I knew that the relationship between the Hawks and Trae Young was kind of, interesting at the moment. But I just never thought that they would have traded that, man. You know what I mean? Because I'm probably one of the few people on the outside looking in that during that draft, it really didn't make no sense to me why they went and did what they did, which is let Luka and did that trade. It didn't make no sense because looking at stats, looking at what was going on that year, Luka was the best player, and he dropped all the way from where he was to 6. I think we picked him and traded him, did we not? I think that's how that went down. Or they picked, they had picked Trae and then we picked Luka and then we trade. Yeah, I think they picked Trae first. It made no sense to me why we made that trade. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how we put it, how we said, yes, both of them are offensive beasts. And yes, both of them at this point in time, we understand they both don't play no defense. But at the end of the day, just Luka to me just seemed like he was going to be the better prospect. Now, again, now we're here. Both of them play no defense. They have both been traded from both of the teams that they would have been picked from. And both of them have literally the same type archetype. You know what I'm saying? Both of them play really good offense, great offense on a given day. And honestly and truly, they could do it on an everyday basis. Great offense. But their defense is what brings them down. You know what I mean? But with him being traded to the Washington Wizards, I just don't know what Washington is really trying to do. You got Bub, and I like him. I like Carrington, to be honest. And I would rather they play him more than they play Trae Young just to kind of see what they can get out of him. But I feel like with him being on the court more, that's going to take away time from him. It's just I know Alex Sarr is gonna really like that. It's gonna be a nice little fit for them after they get some things together. You know what I mean? They don't really know what they have going on right now, so I think that's just they trying to see what they have from all their pieces. Alex Sarr is actually doing a lot better than Zach, and I just don't know what they gonna do. Well, when it comes down to Atlanta, I know they're gonna lean towards Jalen than they are Zach, but when it come down to him, I feel like his clock is ticking for sure. Especially a first overall pick, and that's how you looking. I don't know, but Atlanta, especially with them having possibly a top 2 overall pick, 3 overall pick, they can mess around and get Darren Peterson from this trade. That look great for them. They have Darren Peterson and Jalen Johnson. That's a great duo right there, and Big O at the bottom. Atlanta will be looking up on in a couple of years, man. But that was just a crazy trade because you just would have never expected that to happen. And I feel like Trae really loved being in Atlanta. And I think people really love Trae. But the defense is a problem. And if we couldn't win with him, honestly, with people playing good defense, a couple good years when he was playing. And he's been injured quite a bit now. So I'm not too mad at it because you go get another injured PG, it's not gonna really mean anything. And if they do make a run, and I heard they're trying to get Anthony Davis. If they do make a run, they still get a top 5 pick, and then they still have their own pick, so they can mess around and still get another big or another guard or something like that to help out. But I think Atlanta is starting to. We're gonna go young and we're gonna lean towards Jalen. Jalen been hooping. The brother is almost averaging a triple double. So I think he 20, 20, 23, 23, 10, and 8. I think that's his stats. 23, 10. Yep, 23, 10, and 8. That boy dog. So I can't be mad. He give you 8 assists. Playing the big man. That's yoke numbers right there, low key. So, if only the Bulls could make something happen, that right there, I just don't know what they got going on. It's like one week they want to play real streaky. It's like they play college basketball in the NFL, in the NBA, and that's just so interesting to me. They don't have a star. Because he is trying to come on and be that star, but he needs some development, and that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. Josh Giddey, Patrick Williams, y'all getting a lot of money. Vooch, he 35. We need a replacement. We need people to stay healthy. And at the end of the day, is sometimes it feel like it's hard for people to just be on the court at all times when it comes down to the Bulls. And when they on the court, it's hard for them to not stand out in a bad way. We need them to be on their P's and Q's. Like, shoot, we might have them come on the court and they might look bad on defense. Next thing you know, we getting blown out by 20 points. You know what I mean? I think defense is probably our biggest issue at this point in time. And then scoring. Honestly, we bad on both sides of the ball, scoring and defense. Sometimes we can't even hit a bucket. That's just the interesting part. Yeah, man. Trae Young to the Wizards. I would have rather him go like they would have did a trade with Ja. Had Ja in Atlanta, that would have been kind of fire. That still would have been problematic, but I feel like that would have been fire. Excuse me, my neck was hurting. And I also, somebody was like, one of the commentators, they was like, I think Golden State or something. Who they say? No, I think it was Dallas. I think it was Dallas or somebody else. I can't remember. But anyways, on to NCAA. We only got 2 games left in the season. I wanted to get on here. If I would have done the Montana State versus Illinois State, I would have went with Montana State anyways. I like Montana State. I think they've been looking really good for the past couple of years. We got Miami versus Ole Miss. I think Miami's defense will keep Ole Miss at bay. I think this game is going to be still kind of like a quarterback duo, though. If Carson Beck isn't able to show up, I don't know if the defense is going to be able to keep them in the game for too long, because honestly, that Ole Miss offense is pretty good. We got a quarterback that's dropping 30 bombs a game. Honestly, he didn't have the Cinderella story of the year. Went from FCS championship, FCS games, to now he in the FBS and on the verge of being a national championship. I mean, that's a Cinderella story if it's not. So, if he's able to keep it going, I feel like they can win that game. But like I said, at the same time, I think that the Miami defense will keep them at bay for a little while. Tony will be able to make something happen, and Carson Beck and those boys will be able to run the ball and be physical. I just think that they have a lot more pieces on the outside, and I think they honestly, if Carson on a good day, he a first round draft pick. That's the thing. Carson just sometimes he want to show up, sometimes he don't. So if he shows up and shows that he wants to be a first round draft pick on a given day, he can definitely be one. Cause let's see, what did he look like against Ohio State? I mean, gave you over 50%, gave you over 60% on the day. Not elite numbers in the grand scheme of things about yards and stuff like that, but no interceptions in the tub. That's all you kind of need, man. The defense go out there and handle business. Oregon versus Indiana. I'm going with Indiana. I just like Indiana. I think they're gonna win the whole thing at this point in time. I just think that they're the most all around team. From offense to defense. Like, the defense fights for each other. All of them have like 5 players with 5+ sacks, 6+ sacks. You got a defense that's flying to the ball, not letting stuff get over their head. They play together, and then you got an offense that can run it down your throat. And then when they want to, they can just give it to their quarterback and say, go make a play. And they wide receivers will literally make a play for him if they needed to, or if he needs them to, and or they take it over the top of you like quick. They play well in all aspects of the game. Offensive line is good. Defensive line is good. It's just gonna be a really good game. I like Dan Lannon. He comes from Kirby Smart, Nick Saban. I think everybody now has come from Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, that lineage outside of Cristobal. So, and I don't know of the Ole Miss, but if he worked with Lane, I mean that's still a lineage type deal with yes. Anyways, yeah, you know, I think it's just crazy how college football has played out this year. None of the big name schools that you would have pinpointed would have thought that would have been in at this point in time are all in at this point in time, because the only one that you really got is Indiana and yeah, Miami. But these are everybody is new, in these four playoffs. So this is very refreshing. It's nice to see. Um, the only thing that I would say, my one little piece about the Georgia Ole Miss game is that I wish that Georgia at this point would just go ahead and get a new offensive coordinator. I think that, I like that Kirby Smart likes to defend him and stuff like that, but in big games, Mike Bobo disappears. He literally, him and Mike Bobo be calling some stupid junk, but Bobo be disappearing. Like Todd Monken, one thing that I believe, and this is what made us spoiled to the point where now we're having to revamp our brain. Todd Monken, he did not care if we were up 12-21 going into halftime. He was gonna come back out and he was gonna make sure we had 40 by the time we left the third quarter. And that's one thing that I do not like about Mike Bobo. And honestly, truly about Kirby Smart now. Why are we so conservative when we are winning? It's like, and again, even when we're not winning, they just go into the game thinking, okay, it's gonna be an even playing field. And then when they getting their butt spanked, then it's like, okay, let's turn it up. Why are we not having our foot on their neck the entire time? Like how we, for those 2 years, we literally only had dogfights with two teams, and we only lost by those two teams, by that one team, honestly and truly. But we only lost to that one team by a minimum of 13 points, 10 points, to be honest, every time. And I think one of them games we lost by 3. We blew out LSU, even though Jaden Daniels was hurt. We blew them out by 50. It was like 50-30 something, bro. They were coming back. And that man Todd Monken said, okay, go score some more. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. It's like they are comfortable being where they're at. The offense ain't there. And it ain't there because of the play calling. Going forward on your 37-yard line, that right there is a head coach decision, and I put that on Kirby Smart. That was terrible. Fourth quarter. But also, it's the simple fact that you had to do that at that said point in time, even though I don't know why you didn't try and do something earlier before that, because you let them run up 20-something points in the third quarter before you even did that. You scored 3 points while they sat around and scored 20 something. It was like 24 plus points. in one quarter before you decided to actually play the game. I can no longer say Kirby Smart may yes be the most tenured coach at this point in time and head coach in college football, but because overall, yes, he has the most championships as a head coach. He has two. Under Nick Saban, he has two. So at this point in time, he has the most all round. So you can't take that away from him. You can set him on top and say, yes, he is the number one guy. But I'm putting the, you know what I'm saying, the GOAT. He gonna stay up there. I'm not putting him in the in between area no more. Between the GOAT, in between is Kirby, and then the rest. No, Kirby, you down there with the rest of them. You just at the top of where the rest of them at. You kind of right there with Ryan Day at Ryan Day is at this point in time. Cause that right there, how do you even allow that? You went from halftime being up 21 to 12. Till they ran up 24 fucking points. I'm sorry. I ain't even mean to say that. But 24 points in one quarter. While you sat around and scored three. While we looking at second down screen passes, literally the entire third quarter. That I literally sat right there and watched. They had at least 3-4 of those in the three possessions that they had. They had about 4 or 5 screenplays. That right there is god awful. God awful. If I can sit on my couch and literally call better plays than that, you need to find a better offensive coordinator. I do not care what that man Mike Bobo looks like during the regular season. Can he win you a championship? The answer is no. Flat out. Schumann, he need to be in question. How do you give up 24 points? Yes, I understand. It was a lot of points that Ole Miss left on the floor. And then they scraped all them points back up. But the simple fact that they left them on the floor, that means you was doing something somewhat right. And yes, I do understand the defense was on the field a lot, but that don't take away 20 something freaking points, man. I do not understand how y'all let that happen. But we on to a different year. We on to the next year. It's nice to see some new faces and stuff like that. But you know, that's that to me, that's real sad. I the way that game ended, that's coaching malpractice right there. And yes, Gunner might not be the best quarterback in the world. And yes, honestly and truly, I will say the refs might have gave them one, especially with that targeting. Then they come around do the same exact thing. The gunner don't call the targeting. It was a lot of things that was done. So I'm not really trying to put any blame on Gunner because I'm pretty sure he getting beat up and stuff like that because he took a lot of hits. So I will give him that. A lot of hits. But he might not be the best quarterback and stuff like that, but I will say he tried his best. But for the offensive coordinator to be calling screens the entire freaking third quarter, and then I'm talking about literally we marched down the field in a minute and 30 seconds. I watched it. March down the field, got the ball back, marched down the field, scored a fucking touchdown. Sorry, I didn't mean, but that is crazy. That right there is insane. That is insane. You're telling me you showed us that you could do it, and you're not, and you're just not doing it. Let them run up 24. Let's be winning, but no. Let them run up 24 point. All right, let's play now. Y'all, I'm hoping they do what they do in the transfer portal next year for next year because they need whatever they need to do. They need to make sure they do it because I don't need to see that, and they need to make sure they figure out that situation. I don't need to see no jump like that again next year. There is no way that we should have lost that game. No way. But I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. I'm gonna let it slide or whatever. But that's both of the losses this year. I feel like have been more heartbreaking than the past years because they have been losses that they could literally have won, and they sat around and they shot themselves in the foot, and they have looked bad on those games because of one person. A lot of the times, you can say two, but I'm gonna blame the one. You can say three, but I'm gonna blame the one. But yeah, I'm going Miami, Indiana, and then just in case, I'm go ahead and say that I'm gonna go ahead and go Indiana for the whole thing. I think Indiana is the best team. NFL, we gonna go ahead and do the playoffs too. We gonna do the Rams versus the Panthers. We got the Rams, Packers versus the Bears. I'm going with the Bears. We got the 49ers versus the Eagles. I'm going the Eagles. We got the Bills versus the Jaguars. I'm going with the Jaguars. Honestly, I want to see that man, Trevor Lawrence, make it a couple games. I want to see what he can do. I hope that he makes something happen. You know what I'm saying? Bring the Georgia boys some type of happiness. Bring Georgia some type of happiness. Do something, please. That would make us very happy. Even though, yes, James Cook is playing as well, we would like to see him be great. Trevor Lawrence, this has been his best year in my opinion. 13. This has been his best year. 13-4. His. It's been a long time since I seen the Jaguars kind of do something with him. We got the Chargers versus the Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I want to go with the Chargers. Just be honest, but I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I just feel like they have a better overall team. And then the Steelers versus the Texans. I'm rolling with the Texans. Unless DK go out there and absolutely ball, I just don't even see them really winning a game. I don't think the defense is really all up to par to really be in the playoffs in these games. I don't really think they're gonna really make too much happen. And them, I mean the Steelers. So I feel like they had to scrape and fight just to even get in the playoffs. And yes, they didn't have their best wide receiver, and they had to do that with running backs their entire time. But I just don't see them. I don't see DK coming in and making just that much more of an impact than CJ and honestly what he has on the offensive ball. Yeah. Yeah, CJ been going crazy. It's crazy how the Texans have literally drafted every good Illinois State wide receiver that they've had. So they drafted him in the second round. And then when they draft Noel in the third round, I'm weak. But yeah, man, those are my picks. Hope y'all have a good one, man. Nothing but G takes. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm out. Peace. Y'all have a great one.